lives trying to repay this debt. This body does not belong to us. It's only meant for the benefit of others. So take it. Take it all. But the highest welfare work, Srila Prabhupada, he describes, is how can we then complete this circle of dharma and say, if the highest dharma is to connect, to hear Krishna Katha, to hear Krishna's Leela, and if the evidence of that attachment is my willingness to be kind to other living entities, then let me be kind to others by giving them also this highest dharma. And therefore, from that point comes this idea that telling others about Krishna Katha, hearing ourselves and giving others that opportunity for Leela Smarana, for thinking of Krishna's pastimes, there can be no higher welfare work than that. No higher compassion, bhuta sauhridam, than that activity. But here's the thing. Preaching, yes, this is our mission, right? This is our goal. But preaching has to be done with this sense, with this feeling, that how can I benefit this person before me? Too often when we preach, the preaching is about me, not about the person in front of me. Why? Well, I know these, 5-10 different things. Let me tell this person. Why? So that this person is impressed by the quality of my knowledge. Or this is what I have been told is preaching, so we have this set formula and off we go. You meet someone, off we go. This and this and this and this and this. And one after another, we tell them all these things. But in the process, we forget what is the heart of preaching. The heart of preaching is to ask, where is this person at in front of me? And how can I help him or her? That is the essence of preaching, is to ask. Preaching is centered upon the person being preached to, not the preacher. Not the preacher. When the preaching is centered on the preacher, it simply becomes a way to nourish our own pride. It becomes a way to nourish our own arrogance. I'm doing such nice preaching. Is anyone watching? Is this person impressed or not? And if the question is, if our intent is focused on us, we cannot touch another person's heart. It's still selfish. Therefore, it is not the highest dharma. But when we are focused on that person, it's student-centered and not teacher-centered. The best education is centered on the student, not on the teacher. Then that becomes transformative. And we see these preaching techniques, this approach, this mood, not technique, this mood of preaching in Srimad Bhagavatam, especially in the character of Narada Muni. If you look at Narada Muni, his approach to every person is different. Based on what? Not his mood that day, not his knowledge or what he just learned. It's based on the need of the person in front of him. So I give you one very striking example relevant to this verse. When Narada Muni meets Mrigari, right, in Chaitanya Charitamrita is described, and he's going to the forest and he sees the animals with broken legs, dying a slow, painful death. Mrigari is enjoying this. He's the enemy of the animals. And Narada Muni, he's pained by this. Bhuta sauhridam, right? This is suhridam sarvadehinam. This verse is there in Bhagavatam, Kapila Muni, titikshava karunika, suhridam sarvadehinam, ajata shatrava shanta. If you read this verse, I don't know if you've ever thought of this, but every single quality listed there has to do with compassion to other living entities. Every single one. Titikshava, tolerance. Who are we tolerating? The troubles that others give us, right? Karunika, mercy. Ajata shatru, having no enemy. Shanta, every one of these, suhridam sarvadehinam, is on this point. Bhuta Sauhridam. It's the essence of this quality of a sadhu. Sadhunam sadhu bhushanam. Anyway, so Narada Muni, he sees these Mrigari killing the animals, and he asks, who has done this? And when Mrigari comes out and claims credit for having done, responsibility for having done this, what is Narada Muni's first instruction to Mrigari? His first instruction is kill the animals fully. And when he goes to meet Prachina Barishat, what is Narada Muni's instructions? Don't kill the animals, even for yajna. Now someone can look at this and say, completely opposite instructions. The same devotee giving opposite instructions. To one person, he is saying, don't kill the animals. To the other person, he is saying, kill the animal. Why? Because for someone who is taking pleasure in killing the animal, the first thing to do, who's partially killing, the first step is kill them fully. And for someone who is engaged in Vedic yajna, their next state of advancement is to give up karma kanda and come to at least the level of jnana. Right? Here's the point. Narada Muni meets every person where they are at and asks them to advance from that point. This is the quality of a preacher. A preacher is Krishna conscious. How? By being conscious of the jiva, of the living entity in front of him. And saying, where can I meet this person? Where they are at. Let me start where they are at. And so if, as devotees, we meet someone who is an alcoholic or a smoker or whatever, and we just get them to give up that cigarette, even by giving them some philosophy which is a little bit lower, it's okay, right? It's okay. We have helped them advance because that's where they are at. Whereas otherwise we meet a child who is already attached to Krishna in a deep way. We may have to help them, rise to the level of something much, much higher. Narada Muni's instructions to Dhruva are very different than his instructions to Prahlad, if you compare the two in Srimad Bhagavatam. For Dhruva Maharaj, he attempts to give him the highest instruction. Just become detached, don't be what are you going after all this wealth? But Dhruva says, no, I need this, right? I need this money, I need this wealth. Whereas his instructions to Prahlad are all about renunciation. Why are you in this well of family life and so attached? Whereas Dhruva, he's showing him the path, how to get more power and money and so on, because he knows that his path of purification is that way, whereas Prahlad's is a different way. This is the meaning of Bhuta Sauhridam for us as Vaishnavas, as devotees, to ask ourselves, who is this person before me? And we see this quality in Srila Prabhupada so beautifully, that Prabhupada would preach to if you read his conversations, lectures, if he met a professor, if he met a housewife, if he met a businessman, if he met a child, every person, he would give them Krishna in a different way, in a way that was suitable for their understanding. Why? Because he was seeing them, right? Preaching is not about the preacher. It is about the person who is before us, the recipient. And when we are conscious of that recipient, when we actually see their need and we respond to that need, that is Bhuta Sauhridam. That is the quality of a devotee. That is the softness of a devotee's heart. And let me tell you this, that when someone meets a person like that in their life, they know that something is different, right? They cannot resist hearing from that person because their heart is touched. It is so rare to find a person who focuses on you rather than themselves.